If your team is working from home right now, you might be finding it quite difficult. Difficult to keep them motivated, keeping the communication channels open and collaborating and engaging with your team. Some of your team might find it difficult working from home. Let's be honest, going from an open plan office to working from home can be disorientating and stressful, not just for you, but for everyone. You might find that some of your team members just don't function properly whilst working from home. They might find it more difficult to solve problems. They don't know how to answer the questions. They might end up literally sweeping things under the carpet, missing deadlines. So it's really important to start thinking about how do you communicate? How do you keep them engaged? How do you keep them motivated? This video will tell you all about that. My name's Deborah Pitchford. So working from home doesn't necessarily mean that your team needs to feel disconnected. With some tweaks to your process, even your systems, it can be business as usual with a little twist. So during the video, we're going to cover just some of the very basics of leading a successful team working from home. We're going to cover about expectations, how you set them, how you establish new ways of communicating, how you maintain your company's culture, create a space for collaboration and creativity, and provide effective feedback and praise. Communication is absolutely key for the success of leading your team from home. It will ensure that everyone knows exactly what they've got to do. And it's also about maintaining that communication to make sure it's absolutely clear and definitely two-way. You need to be focused on effectively communicating your needs, and your team need to be able to do exactly the same. It's so lonely working from home at times, and it can affect that motivation and enthusiasm, and it can wane. So it's important to set the right foundations for you and your team, and then you'll ensure that the motivation and the commitment stay high, and you'll make sure, which is really important, that each team member feels valued. And if they feel valued, that will strengthen your team, and it will certainly guarantee each member of your team will give their best performance. It might seem strange to formally agree what you can and cannot do when it comes to communication, but you do need to agree when you can and cannot interrupt each other. Because our behaviour in the remote space needs to be more deliberate than perhaps when we're working in a normal office space. You need to set clear guidelines on how you want to communicate with each other. You need to agree turnaround times for responses as well as the communication hours. Don't encourage the continual checking of emails and those late emails in the night. Because if you do it, everyone else will do it. They think it's an expectation. But it's really important when you work from home, you have a distinction between work life and home life. And that's key for mental health as much as anything else. Stick to regular days and times for your communication, as well what will happen, so let them know what will happen if there is a problem outside of work hours, normal contact hours, if they have a question or query. Given the range of the communication tools available to us, then we need to decide our preferred methods. And it's about looking for the types of tools that we have, which will suit the different types of conversations that we have, and also the different priorities and how we have to handle those. Regular face-to-face video conference is brilliant for keeping the team engaged, and also for making them feel part of a team, and to give that feedback and recognition for the work that they're doing. Informal and formal conversations are great for creativity and problem solving. But what you don't want to do is clog up your email. So my suggestion is to move away from email, particularly when you're communicating with your team, and that will reduce the amount of traffic to your inbox. Try using instant messaging platforms, and this will really help to ensure that your conversations are free flowing and it takes up as little time as possible to deal with. And then leave the complex conversations to your video conferencing. Collaborative home working can really improve productivity. However, all work and no play makes Jack a very dull boy, and it can create problems and engagement within your team. So create times for when your team can get together to chat, discuss cool things, news, perhaps talk about things which are happening, announcements, and anything that you want to talk about. But try and keep it nice and informal, and then you can really keep that sort of engagement going. So bearing in mind all of those tools that you have available to you, then you need to start thinking about how you're going to use them all. So weekly meetings dedicated to announcements might be through Zoom or Microsoft Teams or any other video conferencing platform. You may consider a social space like Facebook Workspace or WhatsApp for those non-work topics or those very quick turnaround conversations. Encourage quieter members of your team to participate with perhaps a weekly challenge or a prompt so they can get involved as well. It can be very difficult to keep your team motivated and engaged as well as accountable when you have such little face-to-face time together. So one of the key things that you can do first of all as a leader is have the right mindset, which is a results-orientated mindset. Believe they will deliver, and they will. But to help them to deliver, they need to understand and remember and not lose sight of the company's culture, its core values and expectations. It's essential for your success and your company's success, because every decision that you and your team make will tie in very specifically to one of your core values. So maintain and nurture all of your communications with your team, with your customers and your stakeholders, those core values. Ensure everyone knows what the goal of the company is and how they contribute. And make sure you really shout out and celebrate success. If you'd like to learn a little bit more about leading your team whilst working from home, then look out for my next video, which will concentrate on team development. My name's Deborah Pitchford, and I'm here to help your business.